Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, where we bring you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation every week. Featuring expert consultants and small business owners who have found success but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their firsthand experience. Now, let's get down to business on Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Business Banking at Jovia Financial Credit Union, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, CEO, keeper of the brand marketing and digital agency.
We're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship. We bring you weekly business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview top business leaders in the community.
Yep. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with someone who is absolutely wonderful. I can't wait. Alyse Arpino, she is the executive director and the founder of CM Performing Arts Center in Oakdale, New York. Alyse has a career spanning over 14 years in theater. She's very passionate about her work in the community. So, Alyse, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on board today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. I mean, you have such a wealth of experience in the theater world. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about how you got involved in that world?
Yeah, certainly. So I was always, my parents were very big theater goers and they enjoyed a lot of the arts. So as a young child, I was always exposed to music and theater. When I was in the third grade, I got the theater bug. That was my first show. And it was ever since then. There was something that was magical about the theater and being in it and being part of it. So I did theater my entire life. I was part of the dance company world as well. As a young child, I got very into auditioning and loved the energy of being in the audition room and that whole experience of being part of a group, being part of a team, being part of a cast in a show. And so I did that all through high school. I went to a theater high school. I went to Holy Trinity in Hicksville, had a fabulous education there and met one of my mentors who made me love theater even more, made me passionate about it. And then I went on to college. I went to Wagner College and had an amazing education there. And so then I had a professional career for a couple of years. I did touring. I was in a movie and had a whole professional career there. And then there was just something that I loved. Also, I had an opportunity where someone asked me if I would be interested in freelancing and choreographing and directing. And I had a moment to do that in college also, where a teacher that was there who was a really great mentor as well said, would you be interested in being a student producer? And so it was nothing that I had really anticipated doing. And then when he gave me the idea, I said, maybe this is another avenue that might be exciting to experience.
Now, what is a student producer?
So a student producer takes on basically the production as a whole. They oversee the entire thing. Basically what I'm doing now as an executive director, they're responsible for the entire production. They're responsible for the production team. They're responsible for the direction that it's going in, and really backing that project, and focusing on, is it hitting all the marks? Is it exciting? Is it entertaining? Is it going to be something that the audience is really going to love? And so I got to do that as an opportunity as a student, which was unique.
That's awesome.
It was really awesome. It was really, really awesome. And so I did. So that opens up a new world too, where I was like, you know what? I like this and I'm good at this. And I had a really good, like I said, there was faculty and teachers that were mentors to me who really wanted us to succeed and do well and stood behind us and gave us the right tools to be able to do it. And to do it, I think the other part of it is you have to be a person who is open and welcoming to people and doesn't want to bring people down. I think there's always, the bee flies to the honey. If you're a person who nurtures people and helps people through, you succeed. You succeed as a group, So that was really where I got that bug to really continue moving forward. And so I did. So I performed for a while, and then I believe that life takes you where you're supposed to be, and everything happens for a reason. And opportunities opened up for me to be on the other side of the table, as we say. You know, the auditioner is on one side, and then the production team is on the other. So the opportunity opened for me to move to the other side of the table and direct and choreograph. And so I did. I switched over to that for a while. And then I was asked by a school if I would come on and start a theater program for them.
Nice.
Yeah, which was really exciting. It was so exciting to be part of something from the ground up, and really create that department for them, create the program, create all the classes, and see where that could go. And it thrived. It did so well. And while I was doing that, CM had approached me, and they had said, would you be on our board of directors? And I was like, well, let's see how this goes. Yes.
You took the leap.
It's about that. Yes. Yeah. You know, it's taking the leap. Exactly. So I did. So I jumped on. I was on the board of directors for a number of years, and then the executive director position came available, and they said, you know, would you consider switching to executive director? Would you interview for the position? And I said, well, that's nothing that I ever anticipated, but yes, I will. And so that's what got us here today.
I love that. That's nice synergy.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a bit.
Yeah.
What was your first play in the third grade?
So funny. So Annie was my first play.
Same here.
Really? Get out of here.
I had that Annie feeling.
That's so funny.
I was like, I wonder if she's going to say Annie.
It was Annie.
It's always Annie.
It is always Annie. So funny story. My first one was Annie. And I was the youngest orphan, third grade.
Okay.
And then later on, when I was in the 7th grade, they did Annie again, and I was like, I'm going to audition again, because I had, you know, you have the bug, you're so excited, you just want to do shows, and I got Annie that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. So yeah, so I'm Annie times 2.
Love it. I love it.
See, I'm a movie guy, so my favorite role in Annie is Miss Hannigan.
Okay.
I love Carol Burnett in that role.
Absolutely.
We're part of the Annie Club together now.
Yes, exactly.
We are. It's a hard knock life.
Now, tell us a little bit about your experience with CM. What's that like, working with CM Performing Arts Center?
Yeah, so it's a great place. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing place, and it's a unique place. CM. We are a nonprofit organization, so that's unique in and of itself. And we're a community theater, which all these things mean different things in that world of theater. We were founded originally by a man named Noel S. Ruiz, and he was the founder of the organization. And his unique path was he was a Cuban refugee over here, and when he came over, he did not know English. He had no knowledge of the English language, little bits here or there, and he came over with his family. And so in learning English, one of the easiest ways for him to learn English and communicate with people was through music and song, and he felt that united everybody. So he then kind of moved into this world of theater and art, and how it brought people together, and how it brought things out in each other, and how we all had unique and different talents. So that was the founding of CM Performing Arts Center, of bringing people together through their own unique talent and what made people who they are, and giving them a place that was warm and welcoming. And we've held on to that all through. We're now 37 years old as our organization. And that has always been the cornerstone of our organization. And what's really at heart is we're an organization of heart. We're a community theater where no one who is an actor on our stage is employed by CM Performing Arts Center. They're all volunteer. So it's a labor of love. And we're an organization that highlights people's unique, different talents, and that's what makes us a great place, by bringing all those talents together and making us whole. And that's really special. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get the opportunity to do that. We're also a welcoming open door for anybody. You know, we want everybody to know that here you can be yourself at CM Performing Arts Center, and you're going to be accepted and loved for who you are. Yeah. And that makes us unique. You know what I mean? It makes us great. And so we have people who during the day are in business and finance, or are teachers and doctors and nurses, who at night are performing on stage at this incredible caliber of talent that you would never even imagine. So we try to bring local Broadway quality to your backyard, you know, and we have these amazingly talented people who help us do that. So
that's great.
And so far ahead of your time. I mean, if you really think about it, so there's so much focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, and I think that's wonderful. And your organization was doing this 37 years ago. You were founded on those principles and the inclusivity. Excuse me, pardon
Exactly.
me. But what's wonderful about that is that message is so relevant today. Amazing. So why don't you tell us some of the other differentiating factors? Because I know there's a lot more. You're more than just a performing arts center. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's exactly what you said. There's so many facets of our organization. So we have an education piece that we feel really strongly about that has grown over the last few years. Unbelievably, exponentially. We have classes for kids as young as 3 years old. We go all the way up through teens and college age. And we love that and we foster that program because that's where it starts and that's where it begins. And part of theater is also, there's so many life skills in doing theater. There's that whole thing of just growing confidence as a person, becoming a good speaker, also just learning yourself and who you are, and how that can come through. And then also being good people, it's really hard to be in a show if it's all about you, and so it just fosters learning to work with each other and being part of a team and being there to support somebody else. There's a lot of letdowns in theater. Nobody will deny that. You're going out for the same role. You could be going up against a role with your best friend,
Yep.
And so, there's part of that too. There's that growing of like, I may not get it this time, but there's a chance to get it again next time. And also that humbling experience of I may not be in the front this time and the show is not about me. I'm not Annie. I'm not Annie this time. But there's a really important part for me as, one of the Boylan sisters or orphan number 6 in the back, and so that's really what's important to us about our education program. From there, we have our main stage program, which is not a program. It's our main stage performance. We do 2 seasons a year with that, 8 full Broadway style musicals a year, 4 obviously in one season and 4 in the other season. And that could be anything that you've ever seen on Broadway. We're not allowed to do it at the same time as Broadway because we're an amateur community theater. But we're allowed to apply for the royalties for any show you've seen on a Broadway stage or anywhere, honestly. And then we have our family theater, which is the shows maybe a little shorter so that they're enticing for people to bring smaller children to and things like that.
Sure.
Same show you might see on a Broadway stage, just might be 90 minutes instead of a little bit longer. We've done fun things like Disney's Descendants with that. We did Susical the Musical. We've done, Disney's Cinderella. So that's really a fun piece also. And then our founder, Noel S. Ruiz, was also a youth minister at one point. And so with his youth group and the local church that he was working with, he wrote with 2 other friends, they wrote Journey, Cross, and Crucifixion. And it's a living Stations of the Cross through song and music. And so it's really important to us to hold true to that as well because it's part of our foundings. So every Lent, we actually put a production of that together and we travel from church to church.
I saw you guys.
Did you?
At St. Boniface in Elmont a few years ago.
100%. Wow. That was us.
And it was amazing.
Thank you.
I was sitting there going, oh my goodness. I cannot believe this is so real, Ray.
Thank you.
An audience out there. If you haven't seen this, it's not about religion. Just really taking in the art. But seeing this group, your group come to life as in the Stations of the Cross, like you're looking at everyone perform as if you're in TV.
Oh, that's awesome,
right? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so. Look, we have so many connections here. Yeah. Super excited.
Yeah.
So how do you talked about this, what happens during Lent and the Descendants and all the other programming. What helps you really drill down on, okay, this is my selection for the spring or the fall?
Sure.
Or is it your ensemble together? Or
it's a little bit of everything. It's definitely influenced, things have obviously also changed within the last couple of years. So selections are different. It's really as I said, we're a community theater. So it's also an influence of what's happening in our neighborhood, in our neck of the woods on Long Island in New York. So, it's influence of like, what are good topics right now? What are hot topics right now? What's really popular in culture right now? Is there like a specific movie coming out that maybe has the same themes? The season, the time of year, the season, is there a holiday of some sort that might tie in where families are looking for something to do, like Christmas, or in the spring, around that spring holiday, Easter, and all of our holidays in the spring. Is it something that should be like a family show at that point of time? Is it something where we can go a little edgy? Is it something fun in the winter? Some people just don't come out. They kind of hibernate in the winter. So Can we do a more edgy kind of fun pop show? All those things really come into play when you're picking. And I find too, like I said, after COVID has happened, people are kind of looking for a sure thing. So it's a little bit more difficult, honestly. We don't have as much room to kind of do something that might be a little bit more avant-garde, or maybe something that's brand new that nobody really knows yet. They're kind of looking for those popular hits, or they're looking for something that they know that's nostalgic. So if we have a show with all the music of the Rat Pack, or we just did last season, we did Bronx Tale, and that's something that everybody knows and loves. It's like one of those cult movie classics kind of thing, and it did incredibly well for us. So it's difficult. It's hard. It does take a village when you do that, because you kind of try to you put feelers out. You know what I mean? What's something that might be interesting for you, or is there anything that you're really looking forward to that you haven't seen in a long time that you want to see again? Another thing, too, that is exciting is if something, not that you want to see Broadway shows close, but there's kind of a gap in timing where we have to wait a little while before we're allowed to do something that's been out there. Because as I said before, we have to apply for royalties for all of the shows that we do. So we get granted permission, basically, from the companies that own those shows. So if there's something that was really popular on Broadway that people are excited about, that
like
they really want to see, like you have no idea how many people have requested that show lately. That's so funny that you
I feel like it's coming back.
That is so funny that you said that. Yeah, like exactly like Cats. Something like that. So when we know or hear that that's out and we apply for it, we try to get it. So we were really fortunate last April, May. We were one of the first to premiere The Prom, which was on Broadway.
Yes.
Which was exciting for us to get that. It was a great show with great music and a really nice message. So that's kind of how we pick what we do.
I get that Anne Juliet vibe that's going to be coming your way in a few years.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make money? Like, is it donations, grants, ticket sales?
A little bit of everything. Yeah. As I said, we are a nonprofit. So grants and donations are at the heart of our organization. We're fortunate enough to also have a subscriber base. For years, we had an inner circle, and that inner circle program has been turned into this brand new program, which we're really excited about. Just recently, we've started our CM Gems membership program. And that is based off of all donors and based off of all members of our organization who now have a little bit more of an ownership to our organization, where they can say, I do donate to CM Performing Arts Center, so I'm a member of the organization. And there's a whole perk package for them based off of what level of donorship. Then we also do have we are looking for more donors, obviously, and we're also looking for people who might want to sponsor our season. We're always looking for a sponsor for our season sponsorship, our concession sponsorship, and that's really important to us because it is also the ticket sales. But the ticket sales, as I said, you can't always depend on that, especially as a nonprofit and especially as a community theater where it's amazing and we love the people who come to visit us. But a ticket person may just be a one and done kind of thing. We want you to be a member of the organization. We want you to be around all the time and stick around. So that's why we thought those perk packages for our members were really fun. There's discounts for them. There's things for merch and all kinds of stuff. And you have a little bit more of an ownership to the organization. And that's really what helps a nonprofit.
Now, what are some of the misconceptions about, because obviously it's art, but it's also a business.
Sure.
It's a nonprofit, but you have to keep that going. So what are some of the misconceptions about CM Performing Arts?
Sure. I think that's exactly it, that there are misconceptions that people don't realize. I think we are, as I said, it's also hard too because we are a nonprofit, but we're a small business. And I think when people think that new approach of save a small business is so true, because we are an arts organization, but we're just as important. You don't realize it, but we're just as important as your other local small businesses. And I don't think people think, they think, that's great, I'm going to support that business. I'm going to buy my Christmas presents there. I'm going to grab a shirt, or I'm going to grab a garment, or honey or olive oil with all of our stores. Your arts organizations need that as well, and I think because of COVID, it was easy. We kind of lost touch with that by accident. I don't think anybody did it on purpose, but we were separated from each other. So when COVID was, when we were coming out of it and things were changing, people were really excited to be with each other again. But I think what we didn't realize is how much of the arts we lost.
Yes.
We lost movies, we lost theater, we lost TV, which was harder to realize because Netflix was right there for us, and all our streaming became exploding. But your arts organizations are hurting because it was far behind in the back of our heads. So it's that kind of thing of like, okay, great. Now we're allowed to be with each other. We've gotten through that of like, I want to have a party at my house. I want to open my doors up to people again. Now the arts organizations need you again. They need, you need to visit your local museum. You need to visit your local theater and remember us, whereas, it's like great to go with the family for Christmas or whatever. But after Christmas, we're open still, so come on back. Yeah, come on back and visit us again and make it more of the forefront of your memory that not only do we need you at those times of year, we'd love to see you the rest of the year as well.
That's absolutely amazing. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Alyse Arpino, the Executive Director of the CM Performing Arts Center in Oakdale, New York. My name is Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Now, Alyse, please tell me, are you wicked or popular? a little theater trivia here. Who do you identify with?
That's so funny. I would have to say wicked.
Okay.
I would have to say a little bit wicked, yeah.
I'll tell you, I have both. I have a zip up, pull up of wicked, and the cutest little tank top that I can no longer fit of popular. The merchandise is great.
Love.
That is great.
Such a fabulous show.
Absolutely.
Now, you touched on it a little bit, and I think this is such an important point. So one of the things I think that has kind of fallen aside, and we're maybe getting back to it, I think it's so important that the arts is really a hub for the community as far as the economy. I know, for example, if I go to see a play, yes, I'm going to dinner nearby. Yes, I'm going to go shopping nearby. And I think that's what folks need to kind of, embrace again. So what are some of the things that you're doing? Because I know you're doing things to kind of promote that.
Yeah, so we have been trying to partner with a lot of our local organizations as well, where we will do something with local restaurants around, or for the summer last year, we did an event outside where it was a bunch of bands, a bunch of local bands, and all of what was a fun thing for us was in every band there was maybe one or two of our actors who also have these bands that perform. And so we partnered with some local food trucks, and we partnered with the restaurant next door, and we did an event like that. Another event that we had in the beginning of Bronx Tale, we had an event out front where we had some local Italian restaurants come and kind of do a play on a San Gennaro feast kind of thing, where we had some sausage and peppers and some food trucks and things like that. And so we did that as well. We also open our doors to anyone in the community. So we use CM Performing Arts Center also as a venue where you can come and do any kind of fundraising for your organization. Or we also think it's really important to give to organizations that need baskets or raffles or things like that. We donate tickets to all of those organizations as well. We feel like it's really important to help each other and to cross promote. So we will open things up where we'll say, okay, whatever your foundation is or whatever you need, we'll sell you this block of tickets at a discounted rate, and then you pass it on. And then that night, we'll do raffle baskets in the lobby for your group, and then all of our patrons can donate and can do that raffle. We've also worked with Islip Goes Purple, and we did that with them. We're really engaged with the Chamber of Commerce's as well. And we do a lot of local events to kind of help out. We did stuff with the Holbrook Chamber of Commerce, the North Babylon Chamber of Commerce. And so we have great relationships with them as well.
And I think that's so important because at the end of the day, it is a business, and by connecting with the others, it really just strengthens the whole community.
Yeah.
So, Alyse, what's the one accomplishment or the thing that you're most proud of with CM Performing Arts Center?
I think when you take a step back, every opening night, you just take a step back. You get a minute to kind of rest, because anybody who has done theater can attest that leading up to that opening night show is a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of the sweat and the tears.
Yes.
And they could be happy tears. They don't have to be sad tears, but it's just a lot of work to get that up on its feet and running. It's a huge production, and it takes a lot of people. It takes a village to do that. So every time we open a show, or I get to sit and watch one of our shows, you just sit there for a moment kind of in awe of that this was able to be done by volunteers, that there are people who are passionate about this, who are really good at what they do and love what they do and love CM Performing Arts Center, that we can bring people together to put on that production, but also to provide that production. You know, we look at it as kind of a labor of love, that we're bringing a little bit of happiness or a little bit of an escape to our audience for a short amount of time. And we're able to do that. And there's not many people that can say that they have done something to kind of touch someone else's life, or to maybe change a mood that they were in, or to let them escape from whatever they might need to for a little bit of time. And that's really, to me, that's really exciting and important. And also that we're able to stand here today after COVID, you know, and we're growing. I think that's it too. We're not standing still. We're growing and trying to make our organization better and move forward. And there were a lot of trials and tribulations of that. It was like, are we going to get through it? And then after it, it was kind of like starting over. It was like starting a business over from scratch. People were different. The organization had to be different a little bit. And we really had to think outside the box. You know, I thought of some crazy stuff to keep us open.
Where can we find information about CM Performing Arts Center?
Yeah, so our website is always posted with the most up-to-date information. So it's cmpac.com. And we're on all social media. So you can find us there. You can even find us on TikTok. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
I'd like to leave you with DB's philosophy. It's communication. That's what theater is all about. Cita Riviera.
We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, your co-host and producers. Visit nccradio.org for more information. We're available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeartRadio as a podcast, and iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nash Community College, 90.3 WHPC.